Today, going to be talking about how we approach retirement, and in particular, I guess from a financial perspective, because a lot of people do worry and get concerned. Do they have enough? How much do I need? You hear lots of different stories out there. You know, some people say you need millions and millions, and others say no, you don't quite need that much. What are some of the rules around determining the amount that we need?
Now, there are two basic schools of thought. Okay,
Okay.
the first school of thought is promoted by the Australian Superannuation Fund Association,
Mm.
and it says that you probably need about, as a single, 545,000, and as a couple, 640,000 to retire comfortably
640,000
for a
as
couple.
a couple.
And then that will give you about a 62,000 yearly income which you can live on.
Right.
Now, that particular school of thought is whereby you rely heavily on the government age pension, you own your own home, and you live to your age 85, life expectancy. The other school of thought is whereby they would downplay the use of the government age pension, and they will allow for things like travels, and you want the pursuit of your hobbies, and things that people like to do when they first retire. Uh,
Lifestyle, right?
correct. And that's where you get the 1.3 to 1.5 million dollar mark. Now, I think they're all not wrong. They're just looking at the problem through different lens, or at different through different angles.
Mm.
Okay, so, and I think that's where the confusion is. Which number is
That's
right for
right.
me. But the problem is that we are trying to find one number that fits everyone. Now, I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
I met up with this lady in the nursing home once,
Mm.
and she wants a higher interest rate on her bank accounts. So I looked at her situation. I went through all her financials, and the fact that she's got no dependents and she's got no next of kin. She's fairly, advanced in her age, and she's living in the nursing home.
Mm.
I told her, I said, I want to give you a challenge, ma'am. Leave your money where it is, and I challenge you to spend your money. So that was my challenge to her. I don't usually say this,
Mm.
but
I was going to say that's interesting advice from a financial planner.
yes.
What were you thinking?
The next day, the head nurse called me back and said, Elson, I've never seen her happier. What did you say to her? And she bought all of us gifts.
Oh my goodness.
A few years later, she died. And she didn't even make a dent in her bank account.
Wow.
Now, I always tell that
Mm.
story because that shows that everyone is different. You can never
Yeah.
imagine having that kind of advice
Yeah.
and seeing it come to pass, that that she was actually living the last few years happy, not being constrained by this desire to hoard the cash that she has accumulated. So everyone is different, and I think that's where if we ask the wrong questions, we will get the wrong answer. There are three questions that I want
Okay.
pre-retirees to think about
Mhm.
before they embark on that journey of planning. Is number one, what are you going to be doing in terms of so think of like when you're after you've finished your studies, you plan for your career. You're going to plan for your retirement. What would you be doing? What would you be doing in 5, 10, 15, 20 years time? Are there any things that you want to pursue? Any business that you want to embark on? Any organizations that you want to volunteer in? So these are all questions that you're going to ask, because this establishes how much you need. The second
Okay.
one is, what type of support you're going to have, and
In,
that's a
in
very
terms of what?
in terms of family support,
Oh,
in
rightio.
terms of,
Yep.
so this establishes the fact that what's going to happen to your family home. Sometimes people need to move earlier, closer to the family, in order for them to plan for their retirement.
Mm, that's true.
And that's a very big part, because the family home has got a lot of value that's locked in, and that really has to come into play. In the past, a lot of people just go, okay, it's too hard, I'll not think about it. And that's where they get caught out, because they find that they've got not enough money to spend, and then they're living in a nice big
Mm.
house, far from their family and friends, and that's where all this, it's a drag on their lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
asking people to consider that as early as they can. Don't wait till that last moment when something happens and then go,
Yeah.
oh, I need to move out, or I need to consider a nursing home. That's a bit too late, often.
Mm.
And the last question
Mm.
is, how long can you work for? Now, of all the factors that go into determining the amount for retirement, the
Mm.
biggest contributing factor is how long you can work and how long you can continue to be productive. Now, far more than fees that superannuation funds charges and the returns that you can get, the biggest difference to your superannuation amount or your retirement savings is how long you can work. So I'm not, and I'm not talking about working full time. I'm talking about easing into retirement, and consider how long you can remain productive, find fulfillment, and often when people do that, they would have a much enjoyable retirement.